Greetings, everyone. I know you'll be surprised at the subject of the video. Yeah, there is no God. Or why will this person post a thing like this? Why will he say a thing like that? And you'll be anxious to know why. I'm going to tell you a few stories, and I'm sure when I am done with the story, you will be able to confirm if the statement I wrote was correct or not. Alright, I want to tell you a good story. 2023, on the 5th of March, a friend of mine called me. It's a personal story, it's not a story that somebody told me or I know about the person. It is about myself. On the 5th of March, a friend of mine by name Francis Obiabo, he was in the military, he was a soldier, but because of misconduct, misbehavior, dubious attitudes, and so what, he was dismissed from the army. He's no longer a military personnel, but he has been parading himself all over the places, telling people, duping people, telling people lies that he's still in the military, that he's in so barrack, he's in the other barrack, and all of that. But also by this publication or by this video, to let everybody know that he is not a military personnel any longer. Should in case you interface with him and he tell you same story, so this will serve as an evidence that he is no longer a military personnel. However, when he called me, although this same person I talk about, when I was in Kaduna and then he was still a military, he usually come to my house, stay for some days, a week, and some days before leaving. Although right from the village, he usually come to my place. He's a friend from the village. Those days, he's not brilliant in education, and I took it upon myself to put him through, teaching him how to read and all of that, although even with all the effort, he couldn't align. So that relationship was sustained until we left the village and went out to join the military, while I also traveled out later and went to Kaduna. So this relationship continues. So after I left Kaduna to Enugu, Port Harcourt, and the rest, within that period, think like 4 or 5 years, he was already dismissed from the military. There was a day I was in Benin. When I was in Benin, he called me. I think that was 2020 thereabout, or late 2019. This same guy called me and said he was in Benin and he wanted to branch at my house, and as a human being, as one-time friend and all of that, I went to the park to meet with him at Agbo Park in Benin City, and I brought him home. He was lean. He was so I don't know. He was like a skeleton. I know he was somewhere so harsh or so bad from his look. I brought him in. He stays in my house close to 6 to 7 months, if not more than. He was so sick. He has a problem somewhere I cannot disclose, that I have to take my time to handle some of those situations. Even with my wife will have to put some things together for him and all of that. With all the things we do, he stays in our house. Yes, We might not take all the responsibilities of his life and all of that while staying in our house, but at least we provide him with shelter. And he stays in our house for that period for over 7 months. So after that, he was not picking the pieces of his life. And although by then some persons told me he has been dismissed from the army, that he committed a particular crime and he was arrested and all of that, which I confronted him and I told him he was denying all of that, although I expected that, because sometimes there are lifestyle that people live and all of that, we know. But because human being are human being, and we just want to see, because we are Christians, we don't neglect people, we just bring people in. But oftentimes we are being paid with evil for the good we do. So as time goes on, when he was picking the pieces of his life, he was bringing in cars, selling out some he brought, he would fix and he would give it out and all of those. So I saw him that yes, he's already living his life. He must have learned his lesson and he must have a change of attitude from what people used to call him, people used to know him to be and all of that. So he went to rent a house behind my church. And he was there. So for him to leave my house, go to rent his house and all of that to stay, it gives me reasons to believe he's trying to fix his life. But that is, by the way, that was the early part of the story. Then coming back to this March 5th, I was transferred from Benin City to Ilesha in Osun State, where I reside. Sometimes he will leave Benin City to visit me in Ilesha and go back. Sometimes I will even come to visit my family in Benin City, and he will call me. I will tell him I am in Benin, and he will tell me that if I am leaving, I should call him that so time we will come to Ilesha together. And I will call him and he will follow me down to Ilesha. And he will stay for some days and he will go. Because sometimes he do go to Lagos and he will want to come, maybe spend a day here. The next day he will go to Lagos and come because he don't want to take a very long distance like that, according to him. So it continues. So one day on that March 5th, 2023, which is last year, he called me and said there was a business that he wanted to do. That was the period of cashless policy that we have a lot of problems. People couldn't go to bank and all of that. That he wants to do a business. And somebody wanted him to buy a car for him. And I know him, even right from the village, I know that's what he do. But even though there are no sweet stories some of the time with all the people he deal with, but that is what I know him to do as his business while in the military then. So I said, okay, that's fine. What do you want me to do? He said the person wanted to buy a car. He not described the particular car for me because I've told him one of my church members do sell cars. Is a car dealer, and he said, please, I should ask the person that if he has this kind of car, somebody wanted him to buy. And the second favor is that the person that wants to buy the car is going to get a good gain from the car, and he doesn't want to lose the business. He has an issue that he needed to update his bank with some details, but because of the cashless policy and all of that, it is so difficult and all of that. I said, okay, I should send my account details for him, or the person can send money for him. He don't want to lose the business, want to retain relationship. I said, okay. I sent my account number to him. The person sent 4 million naira for the first transaction on that 5th. Then on the 6th again, he told me that the person said he is going to send another money, the balance of the money for the car. And today, once I see the money, the alert, I should let him know. The person sent again 3.1 million, 3,100,000. I got him alerted and I told him, he said, okay, that's fine. Then on the 7th morning, he now came from Benin to meet me in Ilesha very early in the morning. Although he already told me, I've already made an inquiry from that my friend, and they promised the car is available. and is in Lagos. He now said, please, he now begged me that I am going to help him, that we will go to that place, because since it is me that the person know that the price, they will bargain and the price will be reduced a bit. I said, okay, no problem. I will try and know how to fix my job so we can go together. So after the whole thing, when he came, I already called the guy and I told him I was coming to Lagos. I went down to Lagos with him. We went down to Aja. After Lekki phase 1, phase 2, down to Aja, through Tollgate. We went there and thanks to God, we were able to get a car from GSK Motor. We bought it from GSK Motor. And the product of the car we bought is C-Class 300 Mercedes Benz. You can see the picture on the screen. So when we get this car from the dealers, we drove down. We bought the car for 4.5 million, and I transferred the money from my account to the car dealer. We signed all the documents and we start coming back. So when we came back, it was late in the night. We had to sleep over because there was a robbery on the road. So when we got that information, we slept over before Ile-Ife, and early in the morning we reached Ilesha. It was in Ilesha, though because of the trouble or problem that police were giving to us on the road. When we reached Ilesha, he said he needed to do some document, the plate number before leaving Ilesha. I said, okay. I have people that I pay tax to. From my office, I do go to submit tax and all of that. So they are also, the revenue people, they are also into all of those things, and I informed them. Said, okay, they told me the price. I told him, he said I should send the money. I sent the money. And then while we were coming, I was sending the money for fuel, for some other things, for repair of the cars, one thing or the other, fixing of one thing or the other, change of tire because the tire has been long. So all the transactions were within my account, And after the car, he would tell me, send me 100,000, send me 50,000, send me this thousand. I know so many persons will say, you are a fool. Don't you know that why will everything, doesn't he have an account? He even came with a national ID card that we needed to go to the bank to correct the errors he has in his bank, but because of the population, but through the cashless policy issue, we couldn't fix that. We even have to print the plastic ID card, his national ID card. But till then, there was no problem. But when he came here, he purchased about 2 or 3 SIM cards. But even while he purchased those SIM, my mind was not there thinking maybe he's playing any game or anything. I believe he just wanted to buy something, because even me myself, I have some SIM and I don't involve in any fraud or that. In short, while we were coming from Lagos, I was advising him, if you are doing this kind of business and you make this kind of game, why don't you register a company name where you can deal with people directly? Without now, he's thinking of all of those things too, all wanting stories like that. So the bottom line now is, after we start processing for the plate number, it took a little time, almost 4 days, 3 days, 4 days. He said he cannot stay. He has to go and deliver the car. That once the plate number is ready, they should deliver to him. Mind you, the plate number was registered in his name, and it doesn't also occur to me that there is a foul play. Although I believe there are times that people would buy a car, and at the end of the day, the person you buy the car from might say, I don't want it again, and by then you must have registered it in his name and all of that, so it becomes another issue. So I feel it's his business, those are the patterns he uses for his business, so I don't question him. But as time goes on, when we reach a point, so when he left, for some days after, I now had the plate number ready. I even snapped and sent to him. He said, that is good, thank you. This is the first time he's buying a car that, in short, his name is written in the document. With that, it doesn't still occur to me. I know people say it's not ordinary, they know what they are doing and all of that. Yeah, that might not be, it might not be far from the truth. So I would travel to Benin City and I sent the plate number to him. I think 3 days, that was on the 3rd of April. On the 3rd of April, thereabout. I sent the plate number to him in Enugu. So on the 4th, I think on the 5th, 4th, thereabout, 4th, 5th, thereabout, I discovered that I could not make transactions on my account again. What is the problem? I tried to tell me there's an error. I sent a mail to the bank. The bank responded to me that there was an unauthorized recharge, and I even checked through then. Although I usually recharge from my bank, but within that period, I never recharged from my bank. So I did not suspect anything. Immediately I called him because I've never involved in any fraud or anything, money with anybody, and nobody's money has come to my account apart from that very one that came in. So I was anxious to know. I called him. I said, please, have you delivered the car you buy from the person? He said, yes. Do you have any challenge with the person? He said, no. Did the person tell you any complaint? He said, no. He said it's even a woman that needed the car. That the woman has collected the car, but she has a problem with her husband, but although the problem is not part of the game and all of that, he has collected his money and they have settled and they've gone. I said, okay, no problem. So on the 5th, the same challenge. On the 6th, I had to go to the bank myself and know what the problem is. So on getting to the bank in Benin City, I was asked by the security to stay aside, and immediately I know something was wrong. And the only source of that problem that I can trace is through him. And I called him right again in the bank. I said, are you sure you don't have a problem? He said, yes. I said, I could see the security have asked me to stay by the side. He said, is it true? I said, yes. I said, okay. I could see police personnel and all of that. He said, are you sure this one? He doesn't have a problem with that. I said, okay. So I rest my mind. I called my wife immediately, told her about the problem. I called one of my friends in the office. I told him, and all of that. On that 6th, I was arrested by the police from the bank. I was handcuffed and taken to Wala Police Station. If you are in Benin City, you know Wala Police Station, close to Guinness. My wife came, a church member came, Mr. Emmanuel Alogo, and we began to inquire. That was the only thing. Even when I called them, I told them the same thing. That is the only thing I suspected. So, few hours later, police came from the state CID and picked me up. I was taken to the state CID. I was in that state CID. Immediately, they on my phone at the state CID. Few minutes later, he called. And I have to put the phone on loudspeaker. And he began to ask me, what was the problem? What is it? I said, I saw police and all of that. Say his mind jump and all of that. I said, no, there was no problem. So it's just, my mind was jumping because I saw the police. The police actually came to do his own transaction and all of that. So we played along, and the police left my phone with me and said I should be communicating with him. He even called me because part of his money was still remaining with me. I think about 600 and some, 700 and something thousand then. And he said he wanted to go for Oloche Sani wedding. So he needed some money. I should send him money because by then I was having issue with my account. I couldn't send money. And I told the police and the owner of the money told me that if he demanded for money, I should tell him I will send. He will send the money. And when he called, while I was still in the police station, that I should send money, the police officer himself sent him 100,000 naira because they wanted to get him. And all of that, to no avail, we wanted to get him. I have to send people to look for him through the wedding and all of that. People were waiting for him. He couldn't come. Even when they did his brother's burial, we were expecting to see him. He could not come. And so many other things. I paid for tracking, nothing less than 300,000 for tracking in Benin City. After that, They were tracking him. They told us he's in social locations and all of that. The police went there. He got a house in that Enugu. So before the police get there, they said he collected his money because he said there was no water in that house and he packed out. So they did another tracking. They tracked him to another state. I came to, so after, immediately I was in that police station in that state CID until on the 16th of that April. From on the 6th that I was arrested, I was there till on the 16th. That is about 2 weeks of that month. So after that, in short, the police say they don't need to keep me and all of that. They have to charge the matter to court and all of that. And they charged the matter to court. Thank God, the matter was to go to the High Court, but with all pleadings and other things and other processes, I was charged to a magistrate court. And on getting to the magistrate court, the bail was not perfected on that day and all of that when I was granted bail. And I was remanded. I was in detention there for 2 days. That is, then on the 19th morning, my bail was perfected, and the brother, Emmanuel Alogo, that I will never forget. He did all he can. I can never, even if I can forget any other person in my life, even if I can forget, in short, if there is anything that I need to do with my life for Brother Emmanuel Alogo, I will lay down my life for it. I will lay my life for it. And I mean it from my heart. He's a brother indeed. I can't even describe him. I can't describe the kind of person he is, the personality he is. I don't even know how a bail was done. I don't know how the matter was released from High Court to Magistrate Court. I don't know how the money for the tracking was paid. All these expenses were done by him. When police were even trying to put allegations and say, that guy, we have seen him with the Francis Obiabo in the police station, in a hotel, they are drinking, they have seen him with an army uniform, and all of these things. The brother said he will not need to ask me to confirm if what they are saying is true, but he is telling them that they are lying. He know me that much. I was shocked. So when I came out on that 19th, he was calling me, demanding for his money. I told him different story, that my NIN has a problem. We need to fix one thing or the other. We need to do that. He got angry. He called my brother. The money that was not even his own. In short, he said he's going to bring the military police to come and kill me, to come and do this. At the time, I told him I am ready for him. Let him come. I am waiting for him. Why is it still delaying? And all of that. So many threats and all of that. My brother, everybody were involved and all of that, and I told them, when we ask people, nobody ever tell us to pray to God. So many people don't tell us to pray to God and all of that. People were telling us, Ocheje is do charms very well, go to native doctor and go to this. I told myself and I told them that if Ocheje is greater than God, then he will go scot-free and put me into this trouble. But if he's not greater than God, then one day something will bring in. The Bible said the earth is of the Lord and the fullness thereof. I prayed, I fasted, believe me, until myself, I got discouraged. I said I will not pray again. I got discouraged. I said I will not even be a member of a church again. I got discouraged. I said, God, why will I be worshiping you and all of this and passing through? Then the people that are evil, they are the ones going out scot-free. A lot of things came to my mind. But I never knew God was actually working in a way we could not see. Just like the song said, the boy sang. So I went to Elisha, I went to Oshobo, I did tracking, I went down to Lagos. They would tell me, come to this place, I will go there and do tracking. I went to Enugu and I did tracking. I went to Ebonyi and I did tracking. And nowhere I did not track Ocheje Obiabo Francis from. But as the Lord will have it, There's nothing God cannot do. I got my state overseer, Pastor Wale Adelakun. He's a great man. My pastor, Pastor Falola Kehinde Victor. I don't know how to say thank you. And every other members of CRM worldwide, members of CRM in Osun State, members of CRM in Elisha, members of CRM in Benin City, members of CRM in Enugu, my spiritual father, I don't know how to say thank you. If I can give my head to say thank you to Pastor Sam Solo Ebube, oh my goodness, I would do it. He is a father, he's a spiritual mentor that I can never alone. He followed me. He, with all this case, he left all he needed to do to pursue this case. Pray with me financially, prayer with prayer and other things that was needed for this race. He was behind me, and we did all of this. On the 4th of that same month, March, you know, I told you it was on the 5th that transaction started. They called me and they sent the money to me. On the 4th of March 2024, that matter was tied to that court. I was going to court. I was traveling from Benin City, from Elisha to Benin City every single month to go and attend a case in the court. I spent transportation, appearance fee, so many other expenses that I cannot even count. In short, I had become a chartered borrowed person. Because I borrowed from here, my salary is not enough. I don't even know. From that time that this issue, I could not pay my children's school fees for more than 4 to 5 terms for the two of them, because of the problem Ocheje put me through. So, on the 4th of March 2024, Ocheje was in a club in Ebonyi State, in Abakaliki. Where he is, the bad people that are there, even some police, some army, does not have the mind to go and arrest people there. And to the glory of God, God was working for us. Through that, my pastor, Pastor Samsolo Ebube, and the police we were working with to do the tracking, they got to Ocheje around 3 in the middle of the night. He was arrested. He was even sitting there. They were clubbing and all of that. And somebody snapped him. And when they snapped him, they sent a picture. They said, this is the person we are looking for. And all of you have been tracking. And immediately in the night, they tracked him. They went there. They arrested him. One guy that he has been lying to that he's still a military is an army officer from 82 Division, cantonment. That is where he is working. Cruising with Mercedes 300 C-Class. So he was taken and they began to beg. They were bribing the police and all of that. Other police were even enticed to take the bribe, but thank God, to the glory of God, others said no. And to God who have it, Ocheje was taken to the police station. And while he was in the police station in Abakaliki, my pastor left Enugu to Abakaliki, and the meeting, he was still arguing with the police that he's a military officer. And my pastor, because I've told him all the story, he narrated every story for them. He recorded it and sent it to me. I was listening to it. He narrated every single story as it is. To God who has done wonders, to God who has done everything, Ocheje was brought to Benin. I traveled from Elisha to Benin immediately and met Ocheje, and they asked him questions in the police. He wrote his statement even before I got there, and he told them I was not involved and all of that, that this is what he told me, and that was the exact thing I told the police. I know if he had said otherwise, the police would investigate, but I gathered all my evidences. The money I transferred to him, even the conversation when he called me that somebody is going to send the money to him, I have the record. Even when he was threatening me, telling me that so it's not my money and I want to take away from the money, I have the record. Every single call I made with him, every single communication I made with him is with my lawyer, it was with my brother, it was with my wife, it was with that brother, Emmanuel Alogo. Everybody have those informations. And we were waiting for him to say maybe I am involved or one thing or the other. So the evidences will start flooding in. So to the glory of God, I was vindicated. And that month, I think on the 25th, that the case was adjourned in that April, I went to the court and I was discharged and acquitted. And on the basis of the culprit was arrested and he has vindicated me that I was not part of the game, that I was not part of the fraud he committed, that I didn't even know anything about it. So on that ground, they are withdrawing the case from me and I was discharged and acquitted. Then on the civil case too, we settled the case and the case was withdrawn. And that was when I gained my freedom. After that, KJ was pestering me that there was a balance of his money, about 500,000 there. He settled the money in the police station and he left. In short, Ocheje became a celebrity in the police station than me, that the police was aware I was innocent. Even the IPO was telling me they are sorry, but that is their work, because a lot of people that look more innocent prove so innocent at the end of the day they discover that they are actually a suspect. And I understand with them, it's part of their job. But even as that, when they got to know I was innocent, they treated Ocheje that is a thief, that is a criminal, that is a robber than myself, who is actually an innocent person. But to the glory of God, he settled all their bills, remaining my own. I had an expenses of about 2.1 million. And I talked to him. Is he going to pay? The church say I should let it be, because he might not have the money to pay and all of that. And even if he doesn't have the money, we will not hold it. And others were saying no, he has to go to prison for that and all of these things. And see, church is one thing I respect so much. They will be hot to the marrow, yet they will still have the mercy for others, for the same people that have held them so much. I don't know that kind of love that God has placed in the heart of his children. And they asked me to forget about it. And that is how the matter is. Until I went to, after the case, I have to open my account, and with struggle, police, I have to pay 50,000, I have to pay this amount, I have to pay that amount, I have to pay, and all of that, until my account was released. It is not because I am faithful, it is not because I was good, it's not because, let me not even say because of my innocence, because God was faithful and God's name was glorified. So if anybody tell you that God does not exist, if you have the power to slap him, slap him. If you have the power to kill him, kill him. Anybody that say God does not exist, the Bible even said it, that it's only a fool that will say there is no God. And that is what it is. So by this story, I don't need to tell you that God exists, that there is God. In contrary to the subject of this video I posted, say there is no God. There is God, and God has always been saving his children, and God has always been delivering his children. And I want to let you know that if you don't know this God, if you don't know Jesus, ordinarily a lot of, even while I was remanded, I saw a lot of innocent people, not even just from Nigeria, it's people that they bought a small phone because they want to manage their life, not knowing that the phone was stolen and was given to them, and the phone was tracked to them, and they were picked up. People don't care who is involved. What they know is that they caught you with the evidence, and a lot of innocent people are in Nigerian prisons. God will see us through. So that is the story. God was faithful. And Charismatic Renewal Ministry I've never seen a church with the kind of love they have for their members. I've never seen a church with the kind of love they have shown towards each other. No wonder one of the 5 pillars of that CRM is love. And they actually prove that love to the last minute. They prove that love to the end, to the extreme. And I want to appreciate the commission, Charismatic Renewal Ministry, myself and my family, my children, my wife, extendedly, we appreciate the church. We appreciate Brother Emmanuel Alogo, whose picture you can see here. This very man, I will always respect him. I will always appreciate him. I will always celebrate him every day of my life. I will always respect him. Am I going to talk about Barrister Okwire, Barrister Victor Okwire, the one who was supposed to even collect money, but he said no. He was, in short, he even wanted to shorty me, but the court said they cannot accept him as a shorty of the same person he is here to defend. He wanted to do that. He was not even sure if I was involved or not. They encouraged me in prayer, even when I was giving up. They were the one, his wife, and every other thing. Mommy T, Mommy Tokpa, and her husband. I don't know. Babadu may be in the church. Every other, I don't know. I want to appreciate any of you that I cannot remember. The one I remember that I have mentioned. Every other person, CRM, your love is so immense. Your love is unquantifiable, and I want to say thank you. Pastor Wale Aderakun, see this man, the state overseer of CRM, Osun State. I don't know how to say thank you. And every other person, my shorty, Brother Omage, I don't know how to thank you. And every other person. So by now you will understand with me that God really exists and He saves His children. God bless you. Thank you. I want you to know that Francis Obiabo, that you can see his picture on this face. You can see his picture here. See this picture you are seeing now. You see the picture you are seeing now. He is no longer a military person. He is not a member of any military body. And if you are dealing any business with him, you have to open your eyes. You have to understand the kind of person he is. I am not saying he's not a brother. I am not saying he's not a friend. We're from the same place, so I couldn't deny that. But I know he is never a good person. Thank you.